These 5 people are amongst the greatest quiz players in Britain. Together, they make up the Eggheads, arguably the most formidable quiz team in the country. The question is, can they be beaten? Welcome to Eggheads, the show where a team of 5 quiz challengers pit their wits against probably, the greatest quiz team in Britain. You might recognise them as they are Goliaths in the world of TV quiz shows. They are the Eggheads. And taking on the might of our quiz Goliaths today are the Care Bears from Birmingham. The team all work in the care industry and they take their name from the nickname given to social workers by the police. Let's meet them.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm 51 and a social worker.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm 37 and I'm a senior social work assistant.
Hi, I'm Pete. I'm 38 and I'm a referrals officer.
Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm 36 and I'm a social worker.
Hello, I'm Rick. I'm 41 and I'm a student nurse.
So welcome, Care Bears. And Steve, as we were saying, that's the nickname?
Yes, that's the nickname that the police give us sometimes because they feel we're sometimes a bit pink and fluffy.
And are you all in the same kind of pink and fluffy work? Well, it's not pink and fluffy, actually, is it?
It isn't, no. There's 4 of us who actually, work in social work in inner city Birmingham, mainly in the area of child protection. And one of the team, Rick, he's actually a trainee nurse at the moment, which again is a fairly tough job. And
you are the Scrabble player here?
I play Scrabble, yes. I play
That will immediately ring alarm bells over there, because they'll know, yes, that you've got an eggy kind of brain. Yeah. Good luck. Every day there's £1,000 worth of cash up for grabs for our challengers. However, if they fail to defeat the Eggheads, the prize money rolls over to the next show. So, Care Bears, the Eggheads have won the last, 10 games, which means that £11,000 says you can't beat them. First round head-to-head battle is on the subject of history. So, challengers, which of you is the historian?
Team
Pete.
captain? Team captain.
Who did we agree was history?
Definitely Pete.
Well,
I think it was Pete.
I think it's going to have to be Pete.
Yeah.
So, Pete, referrals officer, which one of these would you like to refer to?
I'm going to take some advice from a team captain here, because I always do what he says. He's senior management and pretends to work for a living. Steve, what do you think?
I think Pete take on CJ.
OK, so it's Pete from the Care Bears against CJ from the Eggheads. And to ensure there's no conferring, please take your positions in the question room. I'm going to ask each of you 3 multiple-choice questions on history in turn. Whoever answers the most correctly, funnily enough, is the winner. And, Pete, you get a chance to choose the first or second set of questions.
Let's try and crank the pressure on myself and go first.
The Act of Supremacy made which monarch the head of the English Church? Was it Henry V, Henry VIII or Charles II?
I reckon that was when old Henry VIII was having a bit of trouble trying to get a divorce, and the old Pope didn't want to let him have a divorce, and so he decided to set up the Church of England instead, get rid of a wife, get a new one. And I believe it's a lot cheaper in those days as well, just cost you half a country. So I'm going to say Henry VIII.
Great, you know the lot. You're right as well. 1 point to you. CJ, what type of vehicle was the World War II Avro Lancaster? Was it a tank, a submarine, or an aeroplane?
It's the Avro bit that's throwing me. I know the Lancaster was an aeroplane, but I assume the Avro is just a bit plonked on the front of that, so I'll hope it's an aeroplane.
Do you think it's an aeroplane with an Avro on the front?
Yes.
Avro is just AV Rowe, which was the AV being the initials and Rowe the surname, the original manufacturer.
Yeah, it's the name of the company.
Oh, OK.
CJ. And you're right anyway. So you don't even have to know it. Second question, Pete. Which Italian city-state gave its name to a late medieval gold coin that later became standard across Europe? Was it Florence, Venice or Rome?
This is a bit tricky because I was before I was born, but I'm thinking towards Florence because Florence, Florin, I've heard of Florin, but then part of me says Florin's more Northern European, possibly British. It's tricky. I don't think it was Rome. I don't know why I don't think it was Rome, but it's not singing to me. I think process of elimination and not really know what I'm talking about. hello, means I'm going to go for Venice.
OK. You were getting so warm and then you got the wrong answer. It's the florin from Florence.
Talked myself out of it.
Yeah. CJ, which US president created the Federal Reserve banking system? Abraham Lincoln, Woodrow Wilson, or Harry S. Truman?
Strangely, I don't know this straight off, with presidents being one of my specialities.
Because you read a book about them last week.
It wasn't last week, it was about 4 years ago. Well, I would hope, both Wilson and Truman are well into the 20th century, and I would hope the Fed Reserve predates that. I'm wondering if it was set up to help fund the Civil War. So I will go for Lincoln.
When you read this book 4 years ago, was this mentioned?
No.
I thought so, because it was Woodrow Wilson.
Oh, it is.
So, Pete, that's good news for you. Here's your next question. According to the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, what did the inhabitants of Northumbria see in the sky before the Viking invasion in AD 793? 2 moons, fiery dragons, or flying chariots?
Gosh. That's some question. I'm trying to work out Halley's Comet, but maths is not my strong point backwards. But even that wouldn't help, because it could be any of the 3. Dragons, maybe more Eastern Europe and East. Chariots, the Romans, I suppose, would have been there earlier. They would have known what chariots were. But how long would Halley's Comet stay there? I think, overall, I'll probably regret this. I'm going to have to go 2 moons. And that's my answer.
2 moons is your answer. I didn't know. That's what I would have said as a guess, but it's wrong. Fiery dragons. Was that a comet then, Eggs?
I don't think it was Halley's Comet, no. It could have been something like a meteor shower that was particularly bright. And, of course, people see what they want to see and they interpret it as some sort of omen. Of course, what comes to mind is a flying dragon.
CJ, your last question in multiple choice. If you get this right, you have beaten Pete. What name is given to the ancient man-made island dwellings found on Scottish lochs and inland waters? Brochs, crannogs, or cairns?
I've never heard of Brochs. I thought crannogs were dwellings, but of course that could be entirely wrong as well. Cairns. What are cairns? My instinct was crannogs, so I'm definitely going with cairns.
Your instinct was crannogs,
yes.
So you've gone with cairns.
Yes. My instincts are always wrong.
They're always wrong?
Yes.
Right. Well, they weren't this time.
Dear Lord.
And crannogs was the correct answer. So, after 3 questions, it's 1 point each. And we now go to sudden death. Pete, your first question. And these are not multiple choice. The Peasants' Revolt took place under the reign of which young English king?
The peasants are revolting. The peasants are revolting. Can I think of his name? There's a question. This is probably me goodbye. I'm going to say... Or am I? No idea why. Plucked out of the ether. Edward II, if you've even had one of them.
It was Richard II. Sorry. The next question for you, CJ. The Battle of Towton of 1461 was the largest and bloodiest of which conflict?
No, I knew all that because it's various estimates are given between 15 and 32,000 people killed. Now, I think it's that, but I'm just going to think about this. Okay, I'm just going to go for the Wars of the Roses.
You're right. The Wars of the Roses. Pete, I'm afraid you're out of the final round. Please, both of you, come back and rejoin your teams. So as it stands, the challengers have lost 1 brain from the final round, while the Eggheads have lost no brains. Next subject, arts and books. Which of you wants to play on that round? Who wants to play arts and books?
Yeah.
It's going to be me.
Sarah for arts and books.
Arts and book specialist. This will be even longer.
Sarah, social worker, against which Egghead?
I'm drawn to Chris.
You're drawn.
Okay.
Everyone's drawn to Chris in this round.
Are they?
OK, so it's Sarah from the Care Bears against Chris from the Eggheads. Please take your position in the question room. So, I'll ask each of you 3 questions on arts and books in turn. Sarah, they're multiple choice. Do you want the first or second set?
Oh, I think I'll go first, please.
What does an actor do when he or she improvises to fill up time? Corpse, dry, or ad lib?
Well, I think corpse and dry mean pretty much the same thing, don't they? So I'm going to go for ad lib.
Ad lib is right, well done. Chris, what term is often applied to prominent Western European painters who worked between 1400 and 1900? Old masters, old lords, or old chiefs?
They'd be old masters.
They do indeed be old masters. Well done. 1-1. Back to you, Sarah. The author Simon Scarrow is best known for his work in which genre? Popular science, historical fiction, or psychology?
Well, I've never heard of him, so it's going to have to be a guess. Simon Scarrow. I'm drawn to historical fiction. I think I'll plump for that.
Nice one, you're right. The ability to guess correctly is very important in this game. Chris, for what does the letter G stand in the name of the author G.K. Chesterton? Gilbert, Gordon, or Graham?
Here's Gilbert Keith Chesterton, so it's Gilbert.
You're right too, well done. 2-2. Sprinting along here. Sarah, which decorative arts technique using enamel paste takes its name from a French word meaning compartments or partitions? Is it repoussé, champ-levé, or cloisonné?
The only one of those words I recognise is cloisonné, and that kind of rings a bell. I think maybe they use that in those Fabergé egg-type designs, so I'm going to go for that, I think.
You social workers are playing well, you're quite right. This is one sharp team, the Care Bears. Cuddly title is completely misleading. Chris, if you don't get this right, you're gone. Who wrote the 2008 novel The Enchantress of Florence? Julian Barnes, Salman Rushdie, or Louis de Bernières?
I don't think Salman Rushdie's got anything out at the moment. Well, it's some time since Captain Corelli's Mandolin. He's had time to write another novel. And he does tend to set his stuff sort of South Europe, so I'll say Louis de Bernières.
Louis de Bernières is the wrong answer. It is Salman Rushdie. And you knew that, Judith. I can see you nodding.
Yes.
You've read it?
No, I was wondering whether to.
Well done, Sarah. Brilliant play. You took on the Egghead, Chris. You won. So Chris doesn't play in the final round, and you do. Great stuff, challengers. Do please come back and rejoin us in the studio. So as it stands, the challengers and the Eggheads have each lost 1 brain from the final round. Our next subject is sport. Have you got a plan on sport?
Oh, yes.
Care Bears, you have.
Oh, yes. Myself on sport, I think.
Steve on sport, and who looks vulnerable?
I'm not going to fall for the trap of going for Daphne, so I think it's going to have to be Judith.
So, it is Steve from the Care Bears against Judith from the Eggheads. To ensure there's no conferring, please take your positions in the question room. So I said the word sport, and Steve, it was you straight away.
Yeah, I think I was nominated. Some sports I'm quite good at. There's 1 or 2 others that I'm weak on, but hopefully they won't come up.
You've chosen Judith. Her knees are knocking. Do you want the first or second set of questions?
I'll take the first, please.
Steve, in which sport are you most likely to incur a ban for excessive use of the whip? Boxing, horse racing, or show jumping?
Well, I think you've seen a few things in the boxing ring, but not anyone using a whip. Again, I'm a big horse racing fan, so I think luckily that's come up. It's horse racing.
Yes, it is horse racing, correct. Judith, your question. Which cricketer announced his retirement from the England team in March 2008? Andrew Flintoff, Michael Vaughan, or Marcus Trescothick?
Well, I don't think it's Michael Vaughan. I think he's still going strong. And Andrew Flintoff. So I suppose it's Marcus Trescothick.
Yeah, good stuff, Judith. Well done. First point to you. Feel good about that?
I do feel very good.
Steve, Which offence is signalled in rugby league by the referee raising his arm to indicate a penalty and tapping his mouth with the other hand? Offside, obstruction or dissent?
Well, I would have thought with tapping the mouth that it would probably be dissent. I mean, something they probably should use in football as well. I wouldn't have thought it was offside, and I wouldn't have thought it was obstruction, so I think I'll go with dissent.
Good logic, and you're quite right. It is dissent. Well done. You're ahead. So, Judith, you need this to keep up. Which snooker player became the first #1 when the world rankings were introduced in 1976? Cliff Thorburn, Ray Reardon, or Dennis Taylor?
I don't know why, but Dennis Taylor is sort of twanging something in my mind. So Dennis Taylor.
What was he twanging exactly?
I hope a memory.
It's Ray Reardon,
Oh,
Judith.
no, is it? That was the one I
Wrong.
thought definitely wasn't.
Wrong kind of twang. So this for the round. And to put your team ahead of the Eggheads, Steve, here we go. What is the nickname of Scottish former darts world champion Les Wallace? Was he known as the Raging Bullseye, McDanger or Brave Dart?
I'm afraid I'm not a darts fan, but with the surname Wallace, probably Brave Dart.
Eggheads, you know this one?
Yes, in the usual creative way that they have with nicknames, it's McDanger.
It is McDanger. You're wrong, Steve. And if you were just guessing with no knowledge, as I would have been, I would have said Brave Dart. Judith, the footballer Michael Essien represents which country in international football? Nigeria, Morocco or Ghana?
Essien. I'm just trying to think whether it's Nigerian, Moroccan or Ghanaian. Essien. I think it might be Moroccan. I don't know why. I think try Morocco.
You're obviously not a Chelsea fan.
No.
The team he plays for. It's Ghana.
Oh, is it?
Michael Essien, Chelsea player, represents Ghana. So that means at the end of our multiple choice questions, Steve, you've got more points. Well done. You will join your team in the final round. Both of you come back here and rejoin your teammates. So as it stands, the challengers have lost 1 brain from the final round, while the Eggheads have lost 2. The last subject is music. Which challenger wants music? And we can't have Pete or Sarah or Steve, can we?
I think it's Jenny.
Jenny on music?
Yep, I'll try it.
Okay. Now, who do you want to go against, Jenny?
What do you think, guys?
No Chris, CJ or Judith?
Yeah, it varies.
It's very tricky.
It is.
I think you should choose Kevin.
Yeah, I like the colour of his shirt.
Because his shirt's really nice. Really nice shirt, so.
Kevin can stumble. He can stumble.
Okay.
It happened,
Yes.
I think, a few years ago.
What do you reckon, guys?
Good luck.
Yep.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jenny from our Care Bears against Kevin from the Eggheads. To ensure there's no conferring, please go to the question rooms now. Good luck, Jenny.
Thank you.
Feeling okay? Your team's doing well.
They are doing brilliantly.
3 multiple choice questions. Jenny, you can choose first or second set.
I'd like to go first, please, Jeremy.
Jenny, what name is given to the area of a theatre where the orchestra is located? The cave, the crater or the pit?
Classical music not being my forte. This is going to be, well, it has to be pit.
Good for you. You've got it right. The orchestra pit. Kevin, the Yorkshireman John Barry is particularly well known for composing what kind of music? Opera, film scores or hymns?
Yeah, one of my favourites, actually. I've got quite a few of his collections. Film scores.
Yes, John Barry was film scores. Back to you, Jenny. Which band had a 1979 UK hit single with the song My Sharona? Was it The Trick, The Art or The Knack?
Again, this has to be a random guess. I am going to go for I'm going to go for the art.
The art. See if your fellow Care Bears know. Who was it?
It's a knack.
Yeah, the Knack. They only really had that one record, didn't they?
Not that I'm old enough to.
I remember it.
Put you in the room.
It was the Knack, My Sharona. Kevin, which British classical singer was discovered while singing arias to his colleagues on the factory floor when he was a trainee mechanic? Bryn Terfel, Alfie Boe, or Paul Potts?
Yeah, I don't think. Bryn Terfel is a classically trained singer in that sense. I don't think. Paul Potts, I think, worked in some kind of an office environment or something to do with computer sales or telesales or something like that. But I think I associate a manual occupation with Alfie Boe. So, Alfie Boe.
Is the correct answer, Kevin. Well done. So, Jenny, you need this now to stay in the game. A bronze statue of which British composer was unveiled in his birthplace of Cheltenham in April 2008? Benjamin Britten, Gustav Holst, or Ralph Vaughan Williams?
Oh, again. I will have to go for a guess. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go for Ralph Vaughan Williams.
You have been unlucky with your guessing. That is the wrong answer. It's Gustav Holst, Eggheads. He was British, was he?
Yeah, I was actually in the Gustav Holst Museum, less than a couple of weeks ago in Cheltenham.
Well, Kevin, you take the round. There's no way back for Jenny from this position, so sorry, Jenny, you can't be in the final round. Kevin will be. You're beaten by our Egghead. Do please rejoin your teammates. Bad luck, Jenny. It's tough against this lot, and to make it worse, CJ is going to give us his fact on Holst.
One of the few trivial things to know about Holst was when he was already established in the 1920s, he was doing a tour of the country, conducting different orchestras. And he went to a girls' school, and one of the violinists in the girls' school was Celia Johnson, who went on to star in Brief Encounter.
This is what we've been playing towards, not the fact that CJ just gave us, but the final round. Final round time, which as always is general knowledge. I'm afraid those of you who lost your head-to-heads won't be allowed to take part in this round, so that's Jenny and Pete from the Care Bears and Judith and Chris from the Eggheads. Please, can you leave the studio? So here we all are. Steve, Sarah and Rick, you're playing to win the Care Bears £11,000. Kevin, CJ and Daphne, you are playing for something which money can't buy, the Eggheads' reputation. As usual, I will ask each team 3 questions in turn. This time the questions are all general knowledge and you are allowed to confer. Care Bears, the question is, are your 3 brains better than the Eggheads' 3? So Steve, Sarah and Rick, would you like the first or second set of questions? And good luck, by the way.
Thank you. I think we'll carry on going first.
Here we go with the final round. Your first question. At which UK airport did Terminal 5 open in 2008? Luton, Stansted or Heathrow?
Is this the one where all the delays were?
Yeah, it's been in the news a lot recently.
It was Heathrow, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Heathrow.
It was Heathrow, Terminal 5. Well done. Eggheads, what is usually missing on true Manx cats? The ears, the tail, or the claws?
That's the tail, Jeremy.
The tail is missing on a true Manx cat, yeah. Your question, Care Bears. Who was appointed to the newly created position of Secretary of State for Children, Schools and Families in 2007? Ed Balls, David Miliband, or John Denham?
We should know this, shouldn't we?
We should know this,
we should
given
know
the job
this.
we do.
Is this your area?
Well, we work in children's families and schools, so it's not Ed Balls, is it? Because he's something else.
I haven't heard of John Denham, but I've heard of the other 2, and I've never heard anything about the Minister for Children's Schools and whatever it was. So that would be my instinct, would be to go for John Denham.
I think so.
So I think this is going to be a major embarrassment if we get it wrong, given the job we do. But I think we'll agreed on.
I think John Denham.
We'll try John Denham.
Okay, the despair behind you on the screen here is not right. Is Ed Balls. Is he responsible for social workers or not? He is, isn't he?
Well,
No.
I suppose
Kind of.
he would do, yes.
Not much to do.
Maybe he's not doing enough work.
Yeah. Perhaps you should come and visit.
Must be his fault, not yours. Oh dear, that could be very expensive for you. Let's see. Eggheads, members of which tribal group were granted permission to run without numbers in the 2008 London Marathon? The Maori, Bedouin or Maasai? Members of which tribal group were granted permission to run without numbers in the 2008 London Marathon?
Yeah, they were the lovely Maasai, and they sort of ran in flip-flops, didn't they? And, yeah, it's great.
That's your answer, Maasai?
Yes.
It's right, well done. If you get this question wrong, Care Bears, then the contest will be over. The first astronaut from which country made her journey into space in April 2008? India, South Korea, or Brazil?
Anyone got any ideas on astronauts?
There was some point this year, there's definitely been the first South Korean in space.
Oh. Let's go for that then.
But I don't know whether it was a woman or a man or what, and I wouldn't know about
The other countries
the
as
other
well.
countries either. So, but, you know, that's the only way we're going to get to an answer. That's the biggest hint we've got towards an answer.
Yeah.
We should go with that.
Yeah, we'll go for South Korea.
You're right.
Oh,
You're right. Great answer. Well done, Rick. So it was just the South Korean connection was in your mind?
Yeah, I've something in there. I'd heard South Korea had their first astronaut in space.
Okay. Eggheads, let's see if you can get this. If you do get it, the contest is yours. The money rolls over. Our Care Bears become a little bit careworn. What was a gallow glass in ancient Ireland? Was it a drinking vessel, a foot soldier, or a hill ford?
It's a foot
What was a
soldier.
gallow glass in ancient Ireland? Drinking vessel, foot soldier, or hill fort?
You know, that last remark you made us sound really, but unfortunately we know it's a foot soldier.
So you mean if you got this right, you'll feel bad that they get nothing?
Yes.
You have got it right, and they do get nothing. Congratulations, Eggheads. You've won. Gallow glass, guys, would you got that? Foot soldier?
No, it'd have been a guess.
Some hard questions today, and you played really well. Commiserations to our Care Bears. The Eggheads have done what comes naturally to them. Their winning streak continues. Daphne even claiming to feel guilty today.
I'm not claiming, it's true.
Well, just to rub it in, they won't be going home with their £11,000, so that money then rolls over to our next show. Eggheads, congratulations. Who will beat you? Very strong performance today. Join us next time to see if the new challengers have the brains to defeat the Eggheads. £12,000 says they don't. Till then, goodbye.
It's the biggest night of the year, and it all kicks off in half an hour on BBC One, the annual entertainment extravaganza that is Children in Need, with a host of stars doing something different, including a special Strictly performance. But we here on BBC Two are concentrating on Saturday night with Claudia, and It Takes Two, next.